You've got a fire in your belly, a passion to serve, and an insatiable drive to contribute. You know that if you can just get your message in front of the right people, you can change lives. But where to start? There are so many options, so many moving pieces. You get bogged down, overwhelmed, frustrated, while the burning desire to serve others consumes you. I know, I've been there. And these days I bring life-changing impact and value to people's lives through the creation of books, funnels, online courses and coaching programs, and virtual summits. This is the Call to Serve podcast. I'm Tim Cooper, and this is my journey. Well, hello and welcome to the Called to Serve podcast. I'm so excited that you've come along to join me on my journey. In this episode, I just want to give you a little background about who I am, how I got where I am, and where I want to go. Okay, we've all had setbacks, and for us to succeed, there are so many things that we need to do. First and foremost, we've got to basically change who we are in a lot of cases. So throughout this podcast, I'm taking you on my journey. Okay, I'm rebooting, I'm restarting, and over the next few episodes, I'll share with you some of my trials and my tribulations. I'll also be sharing with you what I'm doing now, how I'm being successful, and also where I try things and they don't work so well. Okay. But I was listening to a great speaker called Myron Golden, and he said, "You can only produce what you are. You can only produce what you are." You see, you never see an orange growing on an apple tree or an apple growing on an orange tree. An orange tree can only produce oranges, and an apple tree can only produce apples. And it's the same for us. And sometimes we've got this story going on in our head that is holding us back, that is sabotaging us. If you're like me, you've got plenty of stories going on in your head as to why you're not good enough, why you won't succeed, why you shouldn't be doing this now, why should people be listening to me? But guess what? You have got a message, and you have got a burning desire to help people and to serve people and to make an impact in people's lives. And you've got that ability. You can bring that to people. And you are doing them the greatest disservice if you don't. So I'll be sharing what I'm doing. I'll be sharing my struggles, my personal struggles, my mind shift struggles as I try to reprogram some of the garbage that's in my brain that's been holding me back for many years. And I want to share with you something quite personal that I didn't realize until recently. I didn't realize until I was talking to somebody about a month ago that what happened to me 24 years ago was still having a major impact in all areas of my life, not only business, but also in relationships. And here's what happened. I used to be a software design engineer, software design consultant. In fact, I used to get flown around the world to consult. I used to go to Munich 4 times a year and over to the UK, a lot of time in Asia, consulting, giving design concepts to big software companies. And along the way, I designed and developed an engineering program for big hotels, okay? Like big hotels, like the big Hiltons, the Sheratons, and that sort of stuff. Because those hotels have got a massive engineering department. It's not only all the big plant and equipment down in the basement, but it's also when the maid goes to the room and they see that a light bulb's gone out. And so they pick up the phone and they type in a code, and then that becomes a work order down into the engineering department to go and change that light bulb. It also can be that, why is this light bulb blowing? This is the 3rd time it's blown this week. Maybe it's not the light bulb, maybe it's the wiring. Okay, so it's quite a complex thing. So I went through and I worked my butt off, okay? And then a big software company came to me and said, Tim, we love your software. We think it's going to be a great fit for our suite of programs. We'd like to contract to sell, install and support your software. I said, amazing. Thank goodness. I said, the only thing is you've got to be able to have it so that you can convert it to any language, so that if it's in France, it comes up in French, in Germany, it comes in German. I went, oh, right. So I basically had to rewrite the entire front end so that it would do this translation. And I was working 16 hours a day, sometimes longer, for months to get this over the line. And in the process, I also had to sign a contract with them, and they had their lawyers draw it up, and it was agreed that we go 50-50 in the price. And the cost of the contract was $18,000. So it cost me $9,000 for this contract. So it was going really well. Life was good. I'd done all the work, I was exhausted and everything else, but the product was there. And it was in the hands of the largest hospitality software company in the world, and they were doing their magic, getting it out all over the world. I was on a monthly retainer, and back in 1997, I was earning the equivalent of about $140,000 a year just on the retainer alone. And then every 6 months they topped up my payment with depending on how the sales went. So it was great. Life was good. We had bought a house, and then my wife wanted to move to a different location. So we had a house that we were renting. We were living in a beautiful 4-story pole home on the side of a mountain with views that were just amazing. We were on acreage surrounded by gum trees. We had koalas in the trees. We used to have king parrots and lorikeets flock to the railings of our balconies to eat seed. It was a fantastic location, so peaceful, and the kids really loved it. Brand new car in the driveway. Life was good. And I wasn't working so hard anymore. I was still working, but my income level, and I was comfortable, and I wanted to sort of just rest up and recuperate a bit, because it really knocked me around, getting it to that stage. So one day the phone rings, and it's the assistant financial controller of the company over in Germany saying, congratulations, Tim, you're a millionaire. Hilton International just signed a contract to install your software into all of their hotels around the world. And there were also another couple of major hotel chains that had done the same. I said, wow, that is amazing. And my office was on the lowest level. So I went bolting up this 4-story pole home to tell my wife that we'd done it, we'd hit it, that I just had the phone call and we were worth a solid 7 figures. When the guy called, he said, I'm just taking this fax to the financial controller. It's got all the details in it. As soon as he signs it, I'll fax it through. I said, awesome. So we waited for the fax, and we waited for the fax, and we waited and it never arrived. And I called him back. I said, mate, there's a problem. I haven't received the fax. And he says, I am so sorry, Tim, but the financial controller told me not to tell you anything about it. I mean, what do you mean? And he said, I'm sorry, but they don't want you to know. What that actually meant was that they were basically stealing my software, and they were going to take all the profits. So that started a 3-year campaign with corporate lawyers. At no time did the software company dispute the fact that I owned the software, but they were just so big. They used to laugh at me and say, Tim, you don't understand. We've got a whole floor of solicitors that deal with issues like this. Big corporations, right? And then over the period of the next couple of years, my wife decided that she probably didn't love me as much as she used to. I was probably a changed person looking back, but our relationship, as the bank balance dwindled, so did our relationship, and ended up separating and divorcing. And there's more to that story as well, which I'll share in a future video. So I was being poached by the second largest software company. I've been being poached for a number of years. And so I finally picked up the phone and said, yeah, okay. And so I spent the next 6 years writing software in competition to my software. That was soul destroying. That was just so horrible. But what was more horrible was the story it left in my head and the frame that I looked out at the world through. From then on, from the time that I went from, I was a millionaire for 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, I went from a success mindset to a failure mindset. In those 5 minutes, I went to the point of saying, what's the use? Why should I try? And so I didn't realize this, but I was purposely not earning the amount of income I could. And when my relationship with my wife deteriorated and broke up, I was not open to any new relationship because the story in my head was saying that women are only in it for the money, because that's the way I framed it. My wife loved me. We were having a good time when the cash was rolling in and the new cars and the houses and that sort of stuff. And then as soon as things got tough, she got going. So I closed myself off to any opportunity of happiness, any opportunity of accepting love back into my life. I think back now to the last 24 years and think, wow, how many wonderful women who could have given me so much joy and fulfillment, and me likewise. How much have I missed out on because of the story I was telling in my head? Because I was tarring everybody with the same brush. You're all in that bucket. And it doesn't matter what you say or what you do, I'm not going to change my mind. So in the next episode, I'm going to take you further along the story. But I just want to tell you that like 4 weeks ago, I kicked myself up the butt, because even through all that darkness and depression and all the stuff that was happening in my life, I never lost the burning desire to serve. I never lost the desire to go out there and help people, to improve their lives, to make an impact, to share my message, to teach them what I know. I never lost that. I just lost the will to do that. But it still burned inside me. I still yearned. I still yearned to speak. I still yearned to share my message. And so I decided to pick myself up, stop feeling sorry for myself, work on myself, change those stupid limiting stories in my head, smash the frame that I've been looking at the world through, and start again. And I have. And I'm seeing success. And that's the journey I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share with you what I do every day, how I'm feeling every day, the work I'm doing on myself, the work I'm doing for my clients, the programs I'm creating. Just stick with me. Because I can assure you that no matter where you are, what you're doing, or where you want to be, there will be roadblocks. There will be challenges. No, we can never see our destination. We can see where we are now. We might see a couple of steps ahead, and way off in the distance, we might even be able to see our goal, but in between, it's really murky. It's really foggy. And as smooth as things are going, you're guaranteed there's going to be an obstacle. You're guaranteed there's going to be something that cropped up, and then it's up to you to say, I'm going to either go over, under, or through, or I'm going to give up. And if you give up, then it comes back to doing that great disservice to all those people that you can help, bring hope to, and change lives. Stay tuned, guys. You're in for one hell of a ride. It's going to be up. It's going to be down. But at the end of the day, it's also going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be success and fulfillment and service. Until next time, you take care.